Alright, welcome back to my channel. It's Plain Decoded. If you like what I do, sub me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/plaindecoded. That gets you into my Discord. And I'm going to look at the White Sox and Twins game today. Because it's an isolated game, there's no games going on concurrently. Astrology works best when there's an isolated game. And so today the White Sox and the Twins face each other in Minnesota, and the Twins opened up as favorites, and now a few places have the White Sox as favorites, and I think that's because the majority of the bets are on the White Sox. The Minnesota Twins have a better record. They're 6-3, and they're first in the AL Central. And I'm going to give them the favorite spot because they're also at home. And I would just say, if you like my judgment here, but you like the White Sox better, if you think they deserve to be the true favorite, I would roll with that. And then if you like the Twins, then roll with that for the judgment. Who I think is going to win based on who the favorite is. So I'll go to the chart. And I was just looking at all the odds. It says here that 52% of the money's on or 52% of the money line is Chicago White Sox, or the bets is on the Chicago White Sox. Here's a chart at 1:10 p.m. local Minneapolis, Minnesota. So the first house is down here. It goes to the favorite. This is the front door of the first house. It's in Leo, so the sun rules Leo. So the first house goes to the favorite, which is the sun, and I'm gonna say the Twins. But if you think the White Sox should be the favorite, it's the White Sox. And then the 10th goes to the favorite as well, and it's got Aries in it, ruled by Mars. But because the part of fortune is in Aries, we're gonna give it as priority. Give the part of fortune priority over this house. So the dispositor of the part of fortune is Mars. The favorite only operates with one significator, and that'll be the sun. Then the dog, here's the 7th house. The dog is going to be Saturn because Aquarius is in the 7th house. And then the 4th house for the dog has Libra in it, ruled by Venus, so the dog gets Saturn and Venus. Alright, so what you want to do is see what those significators are doing, what their house placements are. None of them are in a significant house except for the sun. The sun is up here in its own 10th house. It's not in its own house, it's in the 10th house. But that is the favorite's house. So it's a little bit strong. And then none of the other significators are in any relevant houses. The relevant houses are just the angles. And they have to be close to the angles, so 2 degrees close. Like here's the Antisha of Venus, which is Lord 4, but it's not close enough to the angle to matter. It's about 5 degrees away. If it was 2 degrees away, applying. This is applying. This is just inside. So this is applying, and this is just inside. If it was applying, that would be a good testament for the dog, but it's not. It's not near the cusp. Alright, so the whole chart is like twisting this way, clockwise. The sky's turning that way, but when you do a birth chart, the sky stays still and the planets move, so the planets are going counterclockwise. So applying. So the planets go this way. Alright, so none of the important houses are being affected except for the sun. And then the Antisha, the part of fortune, is right here. That's one of the most important things, as well as the part of fortune, what is applying to those things. And Venus right here is trine the Antisha, the part of fortune, but it's separating. And you're only concerned with applying aspects because separating means it already happened. Here's the moon, and what it's applying to is the sun here. So the moon is trining the sun. So that's a really good testimony for the favorite. And you can click this and it'll tell you sun trine moon, 4 degrees and 3 minutes applying. 5 degrees in Major League Baseball is good. So there's only really one major testimony, and that's for the favorite to win. And I'm going to say that's the Twins because they open like that, and I think the line just switched because of the money. I'm not sure why the line switched overall, but they have a better record and they're at home, so I'm going to give them the favorite spot. So I think the Twins will win. But if you think that the White Sox are there to be favorites, then they're going to win. But what I really wanted to cover is scoring plays because it's nice and isolated. The over and under is 7.5. In the first hour, we got at 1:14. The sun, like this is the top of the first. The sun is on the MC. That might come through for a score for the dog because they're up to bat first, right? At 1:36, the Antisha of Saturn, Lord 7, is on the IC. and that happened yesterday, so I think that there'll be a score there. That's why I have 1 check mark. The question marks are times I've seen come through, and then the check marks, I think they will come through, the double check marks. So 229, Moon Trine, the part of fortune, I think that'll come through. At 252, I really think this time will come through. Mars square the anticha of the part of fortune. And then Venus, Lord 4, at 337, square the anticha of the part of fortune. And the anticha of the part of fortune conjunct the ASC at that time. I like that. And 347 with Venus conjunct the MC. I think that'll score 2. All these other question mark times, they could come through as well. So I think the over-under is like set really well. Like, how would you judge that? It'll be right around that 7. All right, so look for this time here to come through. This time, and this time. So I'll put the notes in my description so you can follow along. And just, if you like what I do, come back to my channel, come sub me and like me, and then also support me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/plaindecoded. Really appreciate all the support I am getting, and to all the people in my Discord. All right, have a great day. We'll talk to you later.